It's Father Time. Don't forget to subscribe. Down there in that corner is my face. I'm standing outside of 777. I retired a month ago. American Airlines after 36 years. I was 777 captain. This is a 7.8. Let's go outside and take a look. Don't take my word for it, right? 78-10 by ASOBO in Boeing color scheme. And why am I doing this? I'm going to do all magic, fly around at 2,000 feet, and land on 4 right, this runway at Kennedy. Why? Because I am not worried about the flight, other than I want to hand fly a little bit. I'm worried about flight control replay. It's recording. I am going to fly around, and then I'm going to try to replay parts of it back using flight control replay. And then maybe even try to edit a little film of my landing and cut and paste in there. But for now, it's important I can just get this thing up and running. So let's get the parking brakes off. We don't have toga. We're just going to go full power. You know what? Let's get the HUD going. The HUD is my friend. Here we go. Centerline, centerline, centerline. Let's go. We'll talk a little bit about the HUD on this flight too. It's 80 knots. Pretty weak directional control. Let's get going. You'll notice that the flight path vector on the HUD is very sensitive. It's 140 knots. We'll rotate about 150. There's 2,000 feet remaining with the red and white. Positive rate. This is our flight path vector. Get it climbing. Vertical speed's 1350. Gear up. 2150. We're going to level off at 2. We're going to start a nice little turn back onto downwind at Kennedy, leveling at 2. We can go flaps to 5. Right here, we're going to maintain around 210. Power back. And flaps 5. All right. This is where our aircraft is going. That's our pitch. This is the angle of attack in between, right? Let's level it off at 2. Bring this right down to the horizon. It's 5 degrees. There's 2,000 feet, right about in there. You'll notice how sensitive this thing is. We're heading through 1-3, which is a crosswind. And we know we're climbing because we don't have that pipper on the horizon. Power back a little more. Try to maintain around 200 or so. Yeah. If you notice, it looks like our nose is all over the horizon, all over the place. We'll get a little space at about a 180 heading. Right here, that's our flight path angle. That's where our altitude, if we put this right, split this little pipper right on the horizon like that, means we're not climbing or descending. I'm a little high, so I'm going to descend on down. Bring the power back a little more. And that's enough displacement. We'll start a nice gentle turn to a 220 heading as I get down to 2,000. Leave the flaps at 5. I think they're 5. Let's take a look. Yeah, they're 5. So my goal here is simple. I want to learn how to use flight control replay. You guys maybe have different opinions on it. There's some free ones that might be better. So I'm going to fly this little flight around VFR, nothing fancy. Then I'm going to play it back on flight recall replay. I'll practice with the drone. We'll come in, we'll watch me land, and I'll put it on pause and I'll try to edit together some of the 2 videos of myself flying. Can I do that even? I don't know if I can do that. I'm going to try. It's about a downwind heading, right? 220. So the runway should be off on the right wing. Now, a little low, you can see. So I'm going to bring this nose up, and I'm going slow. Power up, nose above the horizon, the flight path angle above the horizon. That should get us climbing, all right? Power up, nose up, a little bit of trim. Vertical speed 500 feet per minute. So I'm not totally without instruments, am I? You guys who fly Cessna 172s, you're the expert hand flyers these days. We're children of the magenta line, right? When I came on in 1987, a lot of the captains were trying to get used to the, let's take a look over here. We got a little ways to go. The just the FMC. They actually had trouble applying the automation. So here we are, everything's off, autopilot, auto throttles. We are using the HUD, which is different, right? So you can see that this correlates to about 2.5 degrees. If you look down here, like see how this pitch is moving? Yeah, about 2.5 degrees nose high, right about in there on the PFD would be level flight. And there we go, getting a little high. A little high, lower the nose, get that flight path vector below the horizon. Little high, come on, power back, nose low. Still got a little ways to go. Close enough. Let's do a nice easy turn to final. Crosswind will be about 310. We'll roll out on about a 310 because it's runway 04, right? So 310 will be 90 degrees. We'll stay at 2,000 until we know where we're going with flaps 5. Once we get a 310, we'll take a look out there, see if we can pick up the runway and start doing a visual on in. Pick up the VASIs on probably about a 4 mile final. See if we can get a nice landing, then play it back using the drone. Have a little fun today. All right, so we're rolling out at about 310. Let's take a look over. I roll out. Yeah, we better keep the turn going nice and easy here. A little high, nose down. Let's go gear down. Flaps 10. The thing I wish the HUD had was some flaps indication on it. I start my descent nice and easy down to 1500. Oh, my mouse tipped over. The wonders of SimHood, right, guys? Kim jumped off the board. I see the runway way out here. So let's maintain 1,500 feet, 180 knots. Gear is down. Go flap 17. It is 1,500. We'll maintain that until on final. I'm starting to pick up the runway approach lights. 170 knots would be good. We can go to flaps 30 at 170. Starting to pick up the runway out here. Start a nice easy turn to final. A little more flaps to the 20. 25, flaps is 180. Gotta get below 170 before we can go flaps 2. I have the speeds written down over here. They're also on a placard down there. There's the runway. Hey, that worked out nice. I would try to maintain 155 knots on final. Let's go all the way full flaps. All right, so where are we? We're 1,500 feet, rolling out on final. This is where the airplane's going. So if you put that on the end of the runway, when we get up a little higher, you know that your aim point's good. Trim it up. There's 155 knots. Now I'm just kind of gauging it. In the airplane, you see the top of the glare shield. If you're sitting where you can look down the glare shield, when the runway gets about this far above the glare shield, you know that you're approaching a 3-degree glide path. So that's how you do a VFR approach. That's whether you're in a 737, Super 80, Airbus 300, or MD-11, or 787. All right, so there it was. I'm going to start lowering the nose, bringing the power back. Remember, all I'm doing is this VFR approach for practice, but I'm doing it mostly so I can play back flight control replay. That's on the end of the runway. That's where our airplane's flying. As long as I can keep that there without touching the power and maintain 155 knots, I know that I'm doing pretty well. Somewhere in here, we should about 1,000 feet start picking up the VASIs nice and clear. Meanwhile, we're a little hot. Trim, bring the nose back, power back a little. Keeping that pipper on the landing zone.
1,000.
Stable. little hot, power coming back, but I keep that pipper there and trim those up. Starting to pick up the Vazzies, looking for 2 red, 2 white. There it is. Still a little hot, power's coming back. Looking good. I want to get a good landing in the zone on center line and nice and smooth. Then we're going to try to play the flight back. Looks like we're a little high. Power's back. There we go. Power's coming back in. Put that pipper in the landing zone. Right there. Little 154, not slow. Transitioning outside completely.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Kind of firm, very firm. Lower the nose. Full reverse. Center line, center line, center line. Brakes. 60 knots, come out of reverse. And we'll turn off here. Flaps. Once we clear the runway, he flaps up, after landing checklist. So, yeah, not a great landing. In the zone, on center line, little firm. That's not why we're doing it, right? What we're doing is we're going to go to the videotape. We go here, bring this over, stop the recording, like that. Okay, load flight for player situation, load, and we're going to load flight number 4. 303, yeah. These are my first 2 things, right? It actually didn't work. That. Okay, you ready? Let's get this out of the way, and we're going to play. Here we are. All right, let's see what it does. I think in this point I was just talking, right? We'll go outside with the drone here. Got my drone. Hey guys. Should be getting ready to go here shortly. I think I was talking all through here. Whenever you're ready, fella. Sit on the nose. All right, let's go. You guys gonna go? This is too cool. There they go. Sit on the tail. Bounce on the tail. Probably gonna rotate here. Start to turn the crosswind. Fly up here. Oh man, I love this stuff. Our idea, guys, is we're going to come over. Let me get this out of the way. Come over here, fly a right downwind, land, and stop. A little VFR pattern at 2,000 feet. We'll do chase. We can go back inside, of course. There we are at 2,000, if you remember. It's flying around 200 knots, 2,000 feet, lowering that pipper to the horizon. Yeah, that was so far so good. Here's the runway, turning onto a downwind. Now I know that if I'm doing 200 knots as I make that turn, and I'm on base at 180, no problem. So I can pretty much roll out on a 210, 220 heading, right about in here. Go back inside, check it out. Oh, you know what? I just realized that the drone, the Xbox controller, I've got to deactivate all the buttons on it, because it put the gear down, even though the gear didn't come down to the airplane on the video inside the cockpit. If you take a look, that's cool. See the gear down? But it's not down outside because it's a recording. Let me see. Let me see if I can move around. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It didn't affect the recording. I didn't do it live. That's Kennedy way out there. Looking way out on Long Island. That's East Islip area, MacArthur Airport. Hamptons are out there. Connecticut's way over there. Yeah, there's runway 4. That's Kennedy. Runway 4 is there. So we'll probably start our turn right about here. Can't remember where I did it. Let's check up on the fellas. Oh, pardon me. That was ridiculous. Sorry about that. Got fired for that. Not a view you get every day. Not a view. You can't do an aileron roll. I can. See what they're doing inside. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like one of our buttons, yes, is hooked to gear down. One of my yoke buttons. Have to fix that. But the good part is, right? It's not doing that outside on the recording. Good to know. Yeah, every time I do that, the gear goes down. Yeah. All I'm doing is pushing a preset button there. So I'm at 2,000 feet, rolling out on a base leg. And I think probably now I did put the gear down. Yep, there it goes. Gear's coming down. That was from my, so this is a recorded flight if you remember. Nice channel turn to final. Look at that Twilight Zone. You guys ever see the Twilight Zone? Where there's a gremlin on the wing and no one believes him? Like this? Yeah. That was a scary one. Look at Twilight Zone. Goblin or gremlin on the wing of the aircraft. Do that YouTube clip, you'll like it. Sit up here on the tail. Having a little fun. Don't forget to subscribe. I don't do this stuff very often, guys. Pretty serious guy. I do a lot of instructional videos. That's my nature. With all my experience, that's about all I bring to the game. I don't have a flashy presentation. That's why I'm trying to get a little more of this, where I can integrate this into my videos, edit and cut them. Looks like I'm turning to final here. Let's go inside. Yep, turn to final. I think I have by now gear and flaps 20, and there we go. Flaps just went to 30. Kind of creepy, huh? I'm staying at 1,500 feet. Like I said, when the runway gets about a quarter of the way from the bottom of the windscreen, we usually bring the power back, lower the nose, and start picking up a 700 foot per minute sink rate or so until we pick up the VASIs. That usually gets us right in the ballpark if you're in a transport category aircraft. Right now you can see right about in here normally is where we'll start down. I'll see what I do here. It should be starting down. Right about in here. Yeah, there it goes. I see I'll bring my power back. See how this is around 35% here? Most aircraft it's about 65%. I don't know if that's something to do with the Pratt & Whitney's on this thing. That's a very low power setting on the N1s for, it must have something to do with the high performance engines. Oh, what am I doing? Let's go outside, right? See the beauty. A little wingtip formation flying here. The formation landing. Old Air Force days. Alright, let's get over here. Watch ourselves land. Bazzy's showing us a little bit low. I'll take it over visually here. Rounding out. Little bounce. Little lack of center line control. First stroke. Yeah, I think here's where I get the flaps up, spoilers up. Yeah, I gotta make some button adjustments. Something I'm doing on this controller is putting the gear down. And come to a stop. And flaps up after landing. Pretty darn cool. Pretty cool. I'm liking it. So what do I do now? I think I go stop, right? And I want to save that one. Save it. All right. Don't know if I did. All right, guys, that's it. Let me see what I can do with this. And don't forget to subscribe. Just a little fun video today. Father Time's out.